just be interesting. It would be a bit vain. But this isn't fly fishing. This is fishing for the minds of men, unlocking minds. This is when we get recognized, it is a gauge of the effect we're happening and of what's happening in this nation and this world. So the reason I'm going to be on via telephone for at least 30, 45 minutes with you tomorrow is I have a ton of news and information I want to go over and a lot of points I want to make. But the reason I called in to the show today is because I just wanted to let the listeners and everybody out there know, because I've gone through this myself, that we get down sometimes and we get frustrated and we get so close to the problem and it's so obvious to us and the corruption is so ridiculous and the lies are so ridiculous that we have a tendency to, feel fatalistic or like there's no hope. Ladies and gentlemen, there's more than just hope. There is just an amazing things that are happening right now, and if we'll just intensify our efforts to wake everybody up, and people are ready to wake up right now because everything we've talked about in the past is coming true. We've done the groundwork. Many others before us did the groundwork. Many people out there listening to the groundwork. World governments openly being announced and set up. So now is the time. Of course, the enemy's blasting our walls and coming in and bringing the nation down. But we always knew this point was coming. And so now is the time to fight with maximum effort because we're being hit and attacked and the enemy is striking means that we are engaging them. When you're over the target, you get the flak. When you're coming in, I guess, in Vietnam to drop the troops off in some forest, some jungle meadow, some landing zone, and you're getting fired on, you're coming down where the enemy's at. You're coming down where the action is. And so, yeah, we can run off to little smaller sites and places and not be molested and left alone for now, but we need to go out and find the enemy, seek and destroy in the info war. We need to go where we're under fire. We need to go where we're under attack. We need to go where we're being resisted. And with that, I want to get into Jackie Smith, the Home Secretary, literally a would-be Pinochet or Adolf Hitler or Mao Zedong, but she's kind of the Hermann Goering or Heinrich Himmler, I guess, for Gordon Brown in the New World Order, the head of the G20. But before I get into that, Burmis, any comments on my last 7-minute rant?
Well, I can't agree more. I mean, just because we're, being thwarted on YouTube by taking down our biggest channel doesn't mean that there isn't a ton of Alex Jones stuff out there. It doesn't mean we can't rebuild. Like you said, it's the #3 website in the world, only behind Google. And remember, Google Video does integrate all the other websites and like Vimeo and MySpace Video in their search engines. But they've really taken beta to alpha, taking down the amount of views, taking down the top 100, taking down the hottest videos. Now you have to click through just featured videos. They don't tell you any stats on them
Let's
at
be
all.
clear.
Yeah.
All of my videos have been #1. Loose Change, Fabled Enemies that you were involved in, Fabled Enemies you produced and directed. All #1. Everything we do is #1. Okay, #1. And then when does it stop being #1? They just freeze our account. And then later we got internal memos. We've written articles about this. They'll just freeze the video for 2 weeks till it's dead, or they'll just knock you out. They cheat. And so we pointed out, hey, why do you have a top 100? You're claiming this is what the people want. People could say, well, that's their website, so it's not censorship. The issue is, just like Dig later had to admit to Wired Magazine that they censored our articles, the people were voting us up to #1 on a site that's in the top 30, and they were knocking us out. But folks, they do this. It's like whack-a-mole. We're not going away. Anybody ever been in a video game parlor and played the game where the moles are popping up and you're whacking them with a mallet? Ladies and gentlemen, we've just got to have more moles popping up more places. The fact we're being whacked on the head only excites me. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more they do it, the more aggressive I'm going to be. Like you said, I'm doing 7 hours of radio today. I'm doing 7 hours of radio tomorrow. I'll be here this weekend working on my next project. I mean, we have to engage these guys full force if we want victory. And, I had some encouraging callers. Bill in Wisconsin really took, this movement into his own hands. He ran for local government. He made changes locally. There is so much people can do. He just did a big screening of the Obama deception. People are handing that out in droves.
That's the thing that frustrates me, is that I have engaged in the info war. I have caught people engaged in bribery and single-handedly with, that is the locals here in Austin have single-handedly defeated gun bills. We've thrown out the Patriot Act in so many cities. I mean, we've done so much. There's hundreds of things we've done. Anytime we take the field, anytime we take action, anytime we stand up and fight back, we win. But people have this spell on them that they can't fight back. Well, listen, I want to get into some economic news in the next segment, and that's when we're going to cover that. Heads up to the folks of the network. But right now, I want to play this video, this audio. This is a video press release put out by Her Lordship, Jackie Smith, over in England. This is the person that says, if they don't like your behavior, criticizing immigrants, you will be arrested. Remember, Robin Page arrested, BBC presenter, for just saying rural communities deserve the same rights as, quote, Muslims and homosexuals. BBC arrested. I can give hundreds of other examples, but there's one right there. Total secret police has nothing to do with loving the liberals and loving black people and loving the gays. It's all a way to sell the left on going along with tyranny. And we all know about Michael Savage. You know, I heard saying he can't come to the country, and Europe's arresting people that are criticizing the EU. Ministers are being fired. This is really happening. This is tyranny, folks. When they start trying to restrict your free speech and your First Amendment, and then we have this other bill separate from the hate speech bill. It's lying there on your desk. I forget the number.
Yeah, the Cyberbullying Prevention Act. It's right next to me, and it makes some really just ludicrous.
What's
outright...
the bill number on that?
Yeah, I do. It's 1966.
Okay, so my point on that is this, and then I'm going to leave and you can cover it, Bernice. The point is that openly says it's the same thing in England and Europe. If someone says what you said hurt their feelings, then you're arrested. And that's what she says in these different press conferences that she's been giving. She says, if it hurts somebody's feelings or it could upset someone and cause a fist fight, it's illegal, it's a felony. And that's what the Cyberbullying Prevention Act says. It says a federal felony if you hurt someone's feelings. So you should read that later. But here's the bottom line. Here's a clip of her, because this integrates in with the attack on free speech, and I'll explain why if we play the clip. Here she is saying, hey, you already got to show your power bill or your grocery bill or whatever with your ID for government, identification. We're already snooping and tracking everything you're doing. So go ahead and capitulate to a national ID card, which England has resisted for decades. That's one of the few things they fought there. We already have it here by stealth through the local driver's license and ID. I told people that under the executive order back in the 90s. It's now public. Oh, yes, it's called the Real ID Act, already standardized globally to a global standard under a 2000 treaty signed in Australia with the United Nations. And, of course, the U.S. and others are signatories. So we're already under a world ID. They're just standardizing it all. And she tries to say in this tape, this audio of video, she tries to say it's no big deal. She says this is the same thing as just having to show your power bill with your ID, and this will make it simpler. This will have less data about you. This will give you more privacy. Ladies and gentlemen, she says we want your digital fingerprints and face scan. She says, well, we've already taken digital photos of you. So she's now explaining what the feds have said, what the big biometric conferences have said, what the Pentagon has announced, what the standardization under UN law states, is that to buy and sell, you will face scan and or thumbprint. And they're now saying, trying to standardize that we have to do both for double authentication. Now, folks, right out of Revelations, but even if you're an atheist, come on, big government making you thumbprint and face scan to buy and sell. So the hand and the face, it's a digital number. Let he who hath reckoning, understanding, let he who have wisdom reckon the number of the beast. It's the number of a man. They explain with biometrics, it digitally calculates the features on the face, the separation of the fingerprints, and it creates a number of the man, your digital algorithm. But regardless, this is going to be used for total tyranny, and what they've stated at Homeland Security, what England and Europe has said, what China already does. If your national ID card is out of favor, if you haven't paid all your taxes, or you're out of favor, it's just turned off. And then your digital photo, your digital thumbprint, your card, you cannot buy or sell any type of underground economy, having garage sales, selling your car to your neighbor for cash, all illegal. It is all going to be felonies. They have announced all of this, ladies and gentlemen, and so they roll it out like, oh, it's no big deal. It's for your identity. It's for your protection, when it's the government that's gone to all these number systems and big banks and others that are always getting caught selling to other people your data that caused this. So listen to how this witch sells this, and notice the key here. Notice the key to all of this. Notice how she